The $100,000 scam: how Renan, Fontana and Juliana Maia Faria tricked their victims. Imagine losing over $100,000 to people you trusted, your dreams crumbling before your eyes. This nightmare became reality for multiple victims targeted by Renan, Fontana and Juliana Maia Faria in Boston's Brazilian immigrant community. Let's uncover how they deceived innocent people and the lessons we can learn. Renan, Fontana and Juliana Maia Faria presented themselves as credible renovation professionals. Leveraging cultural ties and religious affiliations, they gained the trust of the Brazilian immigrant community. Their convincing personas were their greatest tools, ensuring victims didn't suspect the danger ahead. Together, they operated a calculated scheme, taking large sums from families for construction projects that either never began or remained incomplete. These weren't just random crimes, they were the result of deliberate planning and emotional manipulation. The duo embedded themselves into their victims' communities, exploiting their shared cultural identity. To many, they seemed like helpers making life easier in a foreign country. Churches and religious networks became hotspots where they built their reputation. By aligning themselves with trusted spaces, Renan and Juliana could approach victims with ease. They offered guarantees, showed fake credentials, and persuaded families with promises of reliable services tailored to their unique needs. Once trust was cemented, they offered too good to be true prices for major renovations. Charging hefty down payments, sometimes over $100,000, they began their facade. They even showed initial progress to lull their victims into security. However, as months passed, victims noticed a glaring truth: projects stagnated or weren't touched at all. The once reassuring paperwork? Useless. Complaints about quality were ignored, and as time went on, the scammers disappeared. Renan and Juliana's strategy wasn't just about the money, it was psychological. They manipulated emotions, played on cultural similarities, and weaponized religious kinship. Victims felt obligated to believe them, which made speaking out harder. The two even used fraudulent permits and outdated licenses to appear legitimate. Every step reinforced their illusion of professionalism and honesty. Victims suffered financial devastation, with losses exceeding $100,000 per project. For many, the financial burden was multiplied by emotional harm, trusting individuals betrayed by those they believed were allies. Hard-earned savings vanished overnight. Others saw their credit cards exploited or found themselves facing mounting debts for work that either never started or fell apart afterward. The truth became unavoidable when multiple victims began sharing their experiences and connecting the dots. Promises weren't fulfilled, excuses were identical, and attempts to reach Renan and Juliana were unsuccessful. Seeing the same pattern emerge was heartbreaking yet empowering. Victims united to seek justice and hold the scammers accountable. Local authorities were alerted, and investigations into the fraud began. The immigrant community rallied to share evidence, support victims, and push for legal remedies. But challenges arose as perpetrators exploited loopholes in documentation and licensing. Victims coordinated through legal teams and media efforts, ensuring their stories were heard. Public exposure became vital in preventing further scams. This case magnifies how scammers exploit good faith. From presenting fake credentials to using religious networks, every tactic is designed to disarm suspicion. Victims reflected on key red flags: requests for excessive payments up front and delays serving as standard tactics. The duo's deliberate actions teach an essential lesson: always verify, even within trusted circles. Understanding these fraud tactics can save others. Research contractors independently, demand written agreements, and verify licenses through official channels. Take time to cross-check distributor information or project permits, avoid rushing into large investments without oversight. Exercising due diligence can seem tedious but pays off, sparing you enormous losses and emotional pain. This heartbreaking story also showcases resilience. Facing intimidation and systemic challenges, these victims chose to rise. Communities are the biggest defense against scams. Uniting to inform and protect one another can rupture deceitful schemes like Renan and Juliana's. Their determination sent a powerful message: justice can prevail when people take action together. Don't let stories like this fade into silence. Share this video to help others recognize the signs of fraud. Together, we can expose scammers, protect our loved ones, and stand as a barrier against fraud everywhere.